A bill focusing on farm animals affects every Missourian, from your pockets to your health.
Help wanted sign. Cole County wants more emergency dispatchers.
And how a new program will help victims report assaults to Columbia Police. KOMU 8 News at 6 starts now. Farmers no longer have to disclose the health of their animals thanks to Missouri lawmakers. This is just one of several overrides to Governor Jay Nixon's vetoes. Good evening, I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Jim Rick. Thanks for joining us. Health information about farm animals through tracking programs will become closed records. The problem, taxpayers pay millions of dollars to fund those programs. KOMU 8's Lauren Barnes has farmers' reaction.
We all like options, beef, pork. At Clover's Natural Market, you can have both.
We strive to maintain a high level of transparency and really strong relationships with local producers that we purchase food from.
But you can't always have what you want, like transparency and inexpensive food, for instance.
We try to buy organic as much as we can, but it's also cost 3-4 times as much, so it's not always an option.
A price that taxpayers are already paying.
Obviously, when tax dollars are allocated a certain way, taxpayers deserve to know how they're being spent. And
you shouldn't be allowed to get away with secrecy.
McCubbin says farmers have that right.
Personally, I believe in privacy, and I also believe in the First Amendment right to either say or not say whatever you wish.
But does he like it?
That's what I'm putting in my body when I'm putting in the body of my child.
And if they're unwilling to talk?
We would probably not be willing to purchase from that farmer.
Clover's isn't afraid to walk away.
The new law will not go to a public vote. It takes effect on January 1st. In response to yesterday's veto session, Governor Nixon announced he'll cut nearly $60 million from the state budget. He says lawmakers left him with no other choice. KOMU 8's Madeline Odell is live at the Capitol with why Nixon says the cuts are now inevitable.
Today, Nixon talked about where he was going to cut the money from and his reasons why. Nixon is cutting $57.2 million from this year's state budget. Over $30 million of those cuts are to education, and $20 million, the next highest amount, is being cut from the Department of Transportation. At yesterday's legislative veto session, lawmakers voted to overturn Nixon's vetoes of 3 bills that create tax breaks. In turn, he has to make cuts now. During yesterday's session, some lawmakers refuted Nixon's claims that these bills would reduce revenues that drastically. But Nixon says their logic is flawed and that while the cuts are unfortunate, the money had to be made up somewhere.
I've always been extremely clear to legislators that the tax breaks they passed must be accounted for, either in the budget they pass or in the action I must take later. Today is now that day.
Senator Pro Tem Ron Richards says, quote, the reason for recent withholds by the governor has nothing to do with the legislature's actions last night. The effects of this bill's overridden won't be felt for months, if not years, down the road. The Missouri Commissioner of Education also issued a statement this morning saying that they're disappointed that so many of the cuts are affecting schools. Reporting live in Jefferson City, Madeline Odell, KOMU 8 News.
Columbia Police will begin a new interviewing technique with sexual assault victims. The program is called You Have Options. It allows victims to choose if they want a full or partial police investigation. Victims can also report the assault online or anonymously if they choose. Lieutenant Barbara Buck says traditional law enforcement techniques ask the who, what, when, where, and how. Buck says the new program asks more open-ended questions like, what can you tell us? The program allows victims to offer as much information as they want or can remember.
What people need to realize is sexual assault and sexual violence can happen to any person of any age, race, religion, occupation, and it's not just the college student. I would recommend it for any law enforcement agency and community that's concerned about sexual violence.
The department has nearly 200 employees to train starting soon. The program should begin in late 2017 or early 2018. 3 accidents in 2 weeks along Route F in northern Boone County.
A neighbor blames a lack of sight and no proper way to yield to other drivers. KOMU 8's Justice Henderson is live on Route F with a closer look.
In the last 2 weeks, there's been a motorcycle accident, a head-on collision, And a driver has driven off of this road behind me. Here at the intersection of Route F and Route T is where the latest accident took place and resulted in the death of a motorcyclist. I spoke with Delvin Mellerup, who lives in the area. He emailed us with concerns about his safety. Mellerup says, quote, "It is an accident waiting to happen at the intersection of Highway F, T, and Thornhill. There is no proper or legal way to exit F onto Thornhill. I have to drive behind the stop sign for Highway T to get onto Thornhill. Route F is a rural route that has curves and hills. MoDOT tells me it sees about 400 drivers a day. MoDOT also explains that the route received a new overlay, new pavement, and striping just last year to help drivers. With the new overlays, MoDOT says the drivers tend to go a little faster.
55 mile an hour is the speed limit on the road, but please pay attention to the advisory plaques on the curb signs because it is curvy. And you just, there's also a lot of farm traffic up in that area, so you might pop over a hill. You want to make sure you're driving for suitable speeds so you can get stopped in time.
There is no plan in place to reconstruct the road or add more signs at this time, but drivers are urged to be more careful as they turn and come different ways. Reporting live from Boone County, Justice Henderson, KOMU 8 News.
The Boone County Sheriff's Department identified 2 victims of a fatal apartment fire in North Boone County. They are 45-year-old Willie Wright and 30-year-old Lauren Ballou. Firefighters found them dead in the bathroom of their second-floor apartment this morning at the Fenora Oaks apartment complex. Crews say the fire started in a first-floor apartment. A woman is in custody after being combative with a sheriff's deputy during the investigation. We had a pretty nice day out today, but it looks like that won't last. Let's send it over to Kenton to see when we can expect some storms.
All right, Brittany, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. Looking at live Doppler First Alert radar, we have a few isolated showers and thunderstorms in the region, which was expected here for our afternoon. Look at Fulton right here, just seeing some light showers, but that wasn't always the case. If we go back just 30 minutes here, looking 3D with our radar, you can see there was quite a stronger thunderstorm, nothing severe with this, but there was even some small pea-sized hail. Then as it continued to move here closer to Fulton, it continued to dissipate. It didn't last quite as long here as we can see, and got below that 30,000 foot mark here and eventually down into the lower than 20,000 feet as well. So that's something we'll continue to watch. Is basically these thunderstorms are growing, but then they're dissipating again. Could see some small hail though with any of these storms. Otherwise, if we look over at our temperatures, they are much warmer above this system where we're not seeing the rain yet. 84 still in Moberly, but 78 in Columbia. I'm tracking everything for the next 2 days, hour by hour after the break.
Coming up, a mid-Missouri county looks to improve its 911 services.
And you're taking a live look over the Missouri River at Roachport. This is Kate.
Happening right now. Police are investigating the overnight fatal shooting of a 13-year-old boy in Columbus, Ohio. Tyree King was wanted for questioning in relation to an armed robbery. When police approached him Wednesday night to take him into custody, he pulled a gun from his waistband, which turned out to be a BB gun. An officer shot King several times, and the teenager was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead around 8:30 last night. The Columbus police chief said in a press conference today the gun King pulled is incredibly similar to the one police carry.
Back in mid-Missouri, Cole County Emergency Services are getting a boost. The county wants to hire more medical personnel. KOMU 8's Melissa Zigowitz is here in the studio to tell us why this is happening.
There is one working 911 dispatcher at any given time in Cole County to answer your emergency phone calls, which can pose as a problem during peak emergency times. Now, Cole County is looking to hire more dispatchers to increase its efficiency after meeting with an EMS system management organization this week. No one ever wants to make a phone call to 911, but when you do, you hope who is ever on the other end can help you in your greatest time of need.
No matter what happens, people are going to see better service from us.
Cole County EMS is hiring 4 more 911 dispatchers and 1 field supervisor to adequately dispatch to emergencies.
That's a big benefit for the people of Cole County, that we're able to get more detailed pre-arrival instructions than what we're able to present them today.
Peak times for emergencies in Cole County are between the hours of 10 a.m. and 11 p.m. The Emergency Management Service said Cole County needed more dispatchers to help during those peak times.
There's times when we're swamped. You can have a weekend, you can have a lot of calls coming in, so their recommendation is that we have more personnel there.
Weberg says he hopes to have the new additions to the team filled within the next couple of months.
Overall, it's going to improve our ambulance operations response, and as well the actions that are taken in the side of the emergency before we even get there.
I think it's just going to make us more effectual. I think it's, we're just trying to make it the best ambulance system in the state of Missouri.
Bushman says with the addition of another field supervisor, they will have an expert on hand in the office 24 hours a day.
Cardinals on the road to start a crucial series in San Francisco.
We'll take a look at the playoff implications for tonight's game coming up in sports.
All right, here's a question. What do you call yoga with goats? Any guesses? That would be Goga.
Goga.
Serious program by an Oregon health farm. The combo has become an international hit. Don't know what the health benefits are, but it's definitely fun to watch. Coming up on KOMU 8 News at 10, that's hard to follow. A cigarette tax hike may go on the November ballot if the petition is valid.
And it's Hispanic Heritage Month, so we'll show you how the Hispanic community is taking advantage of this platform to bring more awareness to the global and cultural issues it faces.
Jim, we have some cows out there. You can go and try Koga maybe if you want to give it a chance. 67 degrees there by sunrise. We're gonna have some showers and thunderstorms still back by then as well. 81 then by tomorrow afternoon. Still some showers and thunderstorms. If you want to get a look at how much more rain I'm expecting just from Friday during the daytime and overnight into Saturday morning, could see anywhere between ½ inch to possibly up to 4 or more inches, and that's really just depending on where the heaviest rainfall is. So again, this graphic right here, just an estimation. It's really going to depend on where these storms form, but heavy rainfall is going to be a situation we're dealing with and possibly areas of flash flooding.
That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great